As you might have guessed, our Play Like a Pro series has gone through some changes. From now on, the biography and the technical breakdown will come out as two separate videos. Why? I want to run a little experiment and see what you guys find more interesting, the player's story or the technical analysis. Recently we talked about Kento Miyaura's biography, and you guys gave that video such a warm reception. Thank you for all your comments, likes and engagement. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check the link in the description or the pop-up cards. Trust me, it's worth it. Today we've got a technical breakdown of the Japanese opposite, who's about to become the main offensive weapon for his national team at the upcoming World Championship. So, as always, let's not waste any time, let's go! I want to start with one interesting detail. There's an opinion that opposites, especially left-handed ones, sometimes struggle with attacks from position 4, since that's not really their natural spot. But does Kento have that problem? Honestly, it's hard to say, because he almost never attacks from there. How come? Simple. When the opponent is serving, Kento immediately moves to position 2, while the outside hitter stays in reception and attacks from position 4. Sometimes this creates certain difficulties, especially because of the limited movement space. Technically, by the rules, this is actually a rotational fault, since you can only switch positions after the ball is contacted on the serve. But Kento is already in position 2 before the serve is even hit. You see this a lot in amateur tournaments, but at the professional level, it's surprising. Although after I first noticed it, I started seeing similar moments from other teams too, not just Japanese ones. Still, I've never seen the same level of consistency as with Miyaura. If you know any teams that regularly use this move, drop them in the comments, I'd love to compare. Now let's move on to technique. Kento has a unique approach to his run-up, especially when attacking from position 1. Usually, players either go straight in or approach from out of bounds into the court, which is what Miyaura himself does when hitting from position 2. But from the back row, he does it differently. He runs out of the court toward the sideline. And here's the logical conclusion. If your approach goes one way but your hit goes the other, you're inevitably losing some power. In essence, he's moving away from the ball, not toward it. You can clearly see this in the way he stops after landing. Still, even with that, his hitting speed is enough to score consistently. But I'd love to ask Kento himself, why choose this run-up path? Is it habit, a tactical decision, or something else? From position 2, his approach is more standard, but he doesn't go for a super wide swing. His trademark is a big, powerful last step that lets him get under the ball with pinpoint accuracy, even when he's got almost no time to set it up. And that happens a lot, since he never hits from position 4 and moves straight to position 2. Given his background, Kento's clearly not the type to shy away from tough conditions. And that brings us to what I'd say is one of his biggest strengths – body control in the air. With constantly changing approaches, takeoff points and starting positions, blockers have a hard time predicting his moves. Sometimes it looks like he's showing his cards with his body position, but then he changes it mid-air, just a split second before contact. And at that moment, the block has no time to adjust. Any late arm corrections just mess up their formation. Probably the most defining thing about Kento is that he's not chasing highlights. You won't see a ton of 3-meter missiles or super hard bombs into the floor from him. He prefers to play at maximum height and find a weak spot in the block or defense. That's why even his less aggressive swings often result in points. There's another upside to this approach. When you work for height as well as power, your team's coverage has more chances to save the ball if the block does manage to stop you. And in Japan, with their outstanding defensive and coverage game, that's a huge bonus. Another thing worth noting is how his body control and unique approach help him handle bad sets. If the set is low or too tight, he can get the swing off quickly. If he's off-tempo, he hangs a bit longer in the air. These micropauses and accelerations throw the block off, and the opponent just doesn't have the time to readjust. In short, Kento's technique is a unique mix of an unconventional run-up, a powerful last step, incredible air control, and adaptability to any situation. He plays for results, not just the flashy moment. And that's exactly why his attacks are so effective. Now let's get to what I think is the juiciest part, Kento Miyaura's serve. This is almost its own art form. It's easy to see that when his run-up is straight and clean, without drifting sideways, the ball speed goes way up, but the magic of his serve isn't in power or speed. It's in the absolutely insane ball trajectory. Sometimes you watch the replay and think, no way that's edited. The ball can't really fly like that. But it can. How do you even react to that? I think even Kento himself is sometimes surprised. But lucky for us, we get to just enjoy the show. So how does he make these magical serves? Naturally, it all starts with a ritual, something every pro volleyball player has, and even some amateurs throw in a bit of performance before serving. It starts with Kento walking up to the end line and waiting for the ball. Sometimes he bounces it, but more often he fakes a toss, like a mini rehearsal before the real thing. Without letting the ball hit the floor, he takes it in his left hand, turns around and maybe plays with it a bit more, though that's not always part of the ritual. Then the ball moves to his right hand, shoulders squared, serious look, almost like Cristiano Ronaldo before a free kick. And here comes the magic. During the toss, the ball is in his right, non-dominant hand, and he gives it the standard topspin from himself. But the trick is that his left hand adds a side spin. It's like in attacking. He jumps one way but hits the other. Here he spins the ball one way but sends it flying another, which makes it drop earlier and curve sideways. The stronger the spin, the more unpredictable the trajectory. Beautiful. As for targeting, I won't even talk about it. Better to just show you his hottest zones. Now, about blocking. I think Kento knows this isn't his biggest weapon. His jump is solid, but at 190 centimeters he's a bit undersized compared to today's average opposite, and sometimes that means he can't really trouble the attackers. Over the entire last Nations League season, he made just 5 blocks. You're seeing them on screen now. He can be a threat at the net only if he's got a full, powerful approach. But at modern volleyball speeds, you can imagine that's not always possible. And finally, let's wrap up with his defense. Here I can't help but compare him to Yuji Nishida. And while in attacking skills, based on last season in Japan and his current national team form, I think Kento's already ahead. In defense, Nishida still looks more solid. Miyaura sometimes chooses good positions in defense, but I feel like that's more due to coaching instructions. You don't see a ton of those crazy last-second saves from him, and his ball control isn't perfect. Sometimes after his touch, the ball goes in such a direction that even telepathy wouldn't help predict it. But to be fair, the main thing is that the ball stays in play and the opponent doesn't score right away. In that sense, Kento definitely makes a lot of useful touches. It's just that sometimes the resulting ball isn't easy to attack back. And that's my breakdown of Kento Miyaura's game. This time I decided to step away from the overly technical frame-by-frame breakdown and make it a bit lighter, clearer and, I hope, more fun to watch. What do you think? Should I keep going in this style? Let me know your thoughts. As always, this was Nick. Love what you do and you'll absolutely succeed. See you soon. Bye.